Hello, I'm your host, Lamar L.A. Smith, and welcome to Inside 380. Today we will be covering UK and their 45-38 win over the South Carolina Gamecocks this past Saturday, the MLB playoffs with all the teams that will be advancing to the LCS. We also will be covering what Week 5 taught us in the NFL, big notable games and things that you need to be aware of. USA Basketball winning the World Championship. Also, we will take a preview of some SEC football matchups this weekend. We have three, count them, 1, 2, 3 top 25 matchups in the SEC. No surprise, SEC is the best conference in football. Let's get you to UK football. UK is now 4-1. South Carolina is 3. Now South Carolina is 3-3. First of all, this is our biggest win in the last 2 to 3 years, no doubt. We've won 2 back-to-back SEC games, which we haven't done in over 7 years. And we've done it against Vanderbilt and South Carolina. Now we face UL Monroe. That's a scrub game. We're going to whitewash that one. Beat them probably by like 30 or 40. And then we face LSU going to Baton Rouge. Want to take our medal there. As well as the fact you had Patrick Tyers, 20 of 29, 208 yards, 1 TD, off a fabulous lateral to Ryan Timmons for a 48-yard TD pass. JoJo Kent was a monster in the Wildcat. He had 17 carries for 131, 3 TDs, as well as the 2 TDs that wind up tying the game for us. And then Bud Dupree made an amazing catch and interception when he had a pick 6-yard pick 6 to give us the lead and seal the game for the Kentucky Wildcats. So it was just an all-around great game, and that's what you expect from a team that's developing growth. Bud Dupree, Zadarius Smith, they had their best games, but they showed up when they counted. And with a young squad like this, we're going to have a pretty stout team for some years to come. 4-1. Watch out for us. Top 25 this year. I'm betting on it. We are back from breaking Inside 380, and now we will talk about the MLB playoffs. First of all, the Royals won 3 straight extra inning performances, and they dominated the Angels in Game 3, to sweep them. And then the Orioles swept the Tigers due to their dominating bats that they had. They put up so many runs, it was ridiculous. And then you also had stout pitching that was better than the regular season. The pitching was okay, but their offense was dominant. You thought that was going to happen to the Angels, but they got swept. Nationals, I don't know where their offense was. My boy Brycey, he was doing this thing. Had 3 home runs, batted 294 in the NLDS, and he had 2 RBIs in their Game 4 losing effort in the elimination game, and the Giants will be going back to the NLCS to face the Cardinals, who they faced in 2012. They were down 3-1. They won 3 straight to go on to the World Series, won the World Series that year. And the Cardinals beat the Dodgers. They ran through Kershaw twice to win that series. And Kershaw, I don't know what's happened to him. He's 1-5 in his postseason career. He has a ridiculously high ERA. And for a guy that's supposed to be the NL MVP possibly, and definitely the NL Cy Young, who dominated people all year, he just doesn't have it in the playoffs. He did it last year, he doesn't this year. So it's very appalling to me. And the Cardinals also beat the Dodgers last year in the playoffs. But I think the story of the playoffs is the Royals. The Royals have won 4 straight games already. James Shields, Jason Vargas, and Yordano Ventura have won all their games for them. They have those 3 guys that have pitched well thus far, and then they have Kelvin Herrera, Wade Davis, who has a .7 ERA. And then you have Greg Holland, the best 7, 8, 9 in the MLB. They have a great bullpen. They get enough hitting when they need to. Moustakas and Hosmer have been playing well. And your Donald Ventura, he's hitting 102 on a gun with ease and went 7 innings. That boy is a beast. Look out for him. But you know, that's it for this segment of the MLB playoffs Inside 380. Holla at you, and we're going to be talking about the NFL next. Hello. Inside 380 has welcomed you back. And now we will talk about the NFL season, some compelling things through week 5 of the season. First of all, Sammy Watkins. Beast. 7 receptions, 87 yards, and he's a developing receiver. When he was almost drafted or thought to be drafted by the Detroit Lions, he said he was going to be the star screen to Calvin Johnson's Megatron. Enough said right there. He's a freakish athlete and developing receiver. He'll be nice. Kelvin Benjamin for the Panthers, the number 1 option, as well as the fact, even though he was targeted 11 times, only got 3 receptions and 38 yards, he's a man-child, 6'5", 230, big boy, and he will be a nice receiver in the league. Next thing, Redskins don't have a quarterback. The 1-4, Kirk Cousins is a backup. Simple as that. Really nice backup, but he's a backup. After that, you also have to consider RG3. He may be another Michael Vick. A great quarterback, but very injury prone, and you just can't have that in the NFL. After that, you want to look at the Saints. The Saints aren't as good as we thought they are. They're 2-3. They struggle. Drew Brees has 9 TDs, 6 interceptions, and only 1,500 plus yards this year. Not Drew Brees-esque right now. Not Drew Brees-esque. He's making too many mistakes. The offense hasn't been looking as fluent, considering they added Brandon Cooks to the offense, and they have Brandon Cooks now, Kenny Stills, Marcus Colston, Jimmy Graham, who just got a big-time deal at tight end, and then you have so many other guys, it's ridiculous. The Broncos' offense is still prolific, thanks to the fact that you've seen that after their dominant performance over the Cardinals. You think you add, Emmanuel Sanders to Demaryius Thomas, Wes Welker, Julius Thomas, you don't lose a beat. So Eric Decker, he's missed, but they're still prolific. And the Bengals not ready for prime time. Simple as that. They lost 43-17. Andy Dawson still hasn't been showing up in big games, and he still is dismal in the playoffs recently. That's the NFL segment thus far for you, Inside 380. I'm done. Inside 380 is back, and now we'll be talking about the World Championship. Now, by the World Championship, I'm not talking about the men's, I'm talking about the women's. The women's basketball team won the World Championship 77-64 versus Spain in the gold medal game. And the MVP was, I think she goes by the name Betty Lou. Betty Lou? What? Betty Lou? Who? Betty Lou is the character that Maya Moore, the sniper from UConn, plays in her free time. First you had Uncle Drew, now you got Betty Lou. Betty Lou averaged 15.3 points through the tournament. She's a beast. She's a monster. Maya Moore got game. As my man Stephen A would say, she's big time. 24 points, 8 rebounds she averaged during this season. And she's nothing less than spectacular. You have her, you have Ozzie Sims and Brand Stewart on the come up. You have other players like Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird to add veteran leadership. Sue Bird had her 4th World Championship appearance, and the talent is so stacked, from Brittany to Skylar maybe coming next time. You got also coming next time probably is EDD, Alina Deladon, Betty Lou. That's all I had to say for you. The women's team is dominant. They're always dominant. And 2016, when Tamika Catchings retires that year, and her last performance in Rio, that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of it. Inside 380 will be back. Betty Lou had a great performance in the World Championship, and then we will be talking about SEC football this weekend. Inside 380 this time will be ended with none other than SEC football. First of all, we want to talk about the SEC East matchup between Georgia and Missouri. Georgia's ranked number 13, Missouri's ranked number 23. The last two times the road team won, and Georgia is on the road, and they've lost 7 of their last 9 games on the road. Sad to say, but it is what it is. Todd Gurley, running back, superstar, 94 carries, 773 yards this year on 8 TDs. And Matty Mark is thrown for 1,110 yards and 14 TDs this year, and been dominant. Now the game will be pretty close, very competitive. Despite Indiana beating Missouri, they're no slouch. They're ranked 23 for a reason. They came back versus South Carolina. They have a potent pass rush starring Shane Ray, who has 8 sacks thus far this year out of a total 18 team sacks. And they're just going to be beasts. There's going to be beasts. There's nothing else left to say. Now let's talk about Ole Miss versus Texas A&M. Ole Miss technically is ranked number 3, but since they don't have any APA poll votes for the number 1 ranking, I will categorize them as number 4. So the number 4 team, who also beat Alabama 23-17, beat the Roll Tide 23-17, and now will face Texas A&M, who's number 14. Ole Miss, they had Bo Wallace, 1,522 yards, 14 TDs, 6 picks, and they'll be nice. Myles Garrett will put a lot of pressure. He had 6.5 sacks this year, a freshman, and they have a strong offensive line that does well in pass protection. But then they also have to worry about the running game, which has been very inconsistent. And they'll have to rely on the combination of their strong passing, attacking defense to make sure they stay in the game. Now, Texas A&M, they got Kenny Thrill, as you would like to call it, but he's true and he's real. Kenny Thrill for you, big time guy, and he's going to do something and make this a very competitive performance. Then you have Auburn versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State had 2 APA votes for the number 1 ranking, therefore I will categorize them as number 3. You have Nick Marshall, 755 yards thus far, 8 TDs and 1 pick thrown this year. He also has, a spectacular ground game as normal. Both teams average around 42 points. Mississippi State averages slightly more, 42.6. And you also have Dak Prescott, who is a sleeper for the Heisman Award. 1,232 yards, 13 TDs, 2 picks, 455 rushing yards, 6 TDs. So he's a beast. Mississippi State, you don't want to sleep on him. We're going to have to play the best football game of our lives if we want to beat them 2-3 weeks from now when they come at homecoming October 25th to Memorial College, to Commonwealth Stadium, and it's just going to be bomb. It's Inside 380 with your host, Lamar L.A. Smith. I'm out. Inside 380.